What's up, fellas? I want to run through the entirety of UFC 313 with you. And starting that off, we got the Djorden Santos and Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz just most recently got knocked out at light heavyweight by Minjiang Zhang. I'm not fucking saying that name again. It's probably me to Djorden Santos by knockout in the first or second round. Ozzy Diaz seems pretty chinny, even though he's moving down to middleweight for this fight. Relatively uninteresting start to the card, but hopefully it's just a quick knockout as a little appetizer to get us into the next fight. And the next fight being John Castaneda and Chris Gutierrez. This is a last second jump in from Chris Gutierrez. I'm pretty excited about it just generally because I haven't seen Chris Gutierrez fight in a while, and he has some pretty fun, wild knockouts every now and again. And I feel like this is a fight where he's going to get one of those. But I also really like John Castaneda. He's more of a prospect type guy. He went to an absolute fucking war 2 or 3 years ago with Daniel Santos, which is like the mini Charles Oliveira. And I find him really entertaining generally. I think the only issue I have is if it goes to the ground, John Castaneda doesn't have much there. So if he gets held down, he'll get his ass beat. And Chris Gutierrez has been kind of turned into a Mario Batista of late, where he just kind of lays on you or holds you against the cage and gets decision victories. He doesn't have that initial spunk that both Mario Batista and Chris Gutierrez used to have. I'm leaning Chris Gutierrez smother decision, but if not, John Castaneda might pull off a really fun TKO. To end off the early prelims, we've got Marion Santos versus Francis Marshall. The really cool thing with this matchup is we've got a debutant versus a guy who's 0-1, and they both definitely have something to prove. But honestly, I think Marion Santos, being a tough finalist, he just won the last series of tough. You could say he's 1-0 in the UFC, but considering his last fight was in tough, he still hasn't faced UFC competition. If I'm giving my honest opinion about Marion Santos, he fucking sucks. Every single one of his wins looked very lackluster, very mid. He doesn't look very talented. He's 15-1, which, I mean, it's no fucking joke to get there, but I really think that those stats are padded. I don't think he looks like a very active fighter. He won on tough almost a full year and a half ago. So I don't know where he's been this whole time, I guess training for his first fight. But I think a guy like Francis Marshall is going to wear on him and probably get the decision at the end of the day. So that's to end off the early prelims. And to start off the prelims, we actually have some fun shit going on. None of that shit that was on the early prelims. I'm not really excited about the early prelims. There's one good fight, and it's still a early replacement, so it might be at a catch weight. It might be some weird stipulations there. But to start off the card, we've got Carlos Leal and Alex Morono. I'm pretty excited about this because Carlos Leal is the most steroided up person you could ever put in the UFC, and the fact he hasn't popped is fucking crazy. The acne, the over bulging muscles. Dude is off so much steroids or has the greatest genetics in the world, and it's not the second one. I'm surprised the guy now hasn't started popping up like Manel Cape, but hey, that's neither here nor there. This is going to be a murder. It very simply, Carlos Leal is going to put a striking and grappling masterclass on Alex Morono. If Alex Morono fights anything like he did against Nico Price, he's fucking dead because Nico Price... Alex Morono is now in my book because he lost to him somehow. I really don't fucking know how. That was an absolute tragedy to watch. And yeah, give me Carlos Leal by murder in the first or second round. Next in the prelims, we've got a really fun matchup between two middleweights that are very weird styles separately. We've got Armen Petrosyan, who was beating the crap out of Shara Bullet before he got, unfortunately, double back-fisted. It's hard to predict. I understand it. It was a little bit of a fluke knockout, if you ask me, but hey, it's what can you do? And then we've got another guy with a lot of power, but no fight IQ in Bruno Ferreira. So it's just going to be one guy swinging for the fences, just trying to catch a fucking body like he did on Gregory Rodriguez, trying to replicate that, of course. And then you've got a really technical kickboxer in Armen Petrosyan. If I'm going with my gut feeling, I feel like Armen Petrosyan's going to, coast us out to the end, catch a really good decision victory, piece him up from the outside. Maybe Bruno Ferreira gets tired and he finishes him in the third. The back of my head scratching with another Bruno Ferreira random overhand right knockout, just because this kid's got so much power. And I don't understand where it comes from, but he fucking has it. He has great goddamn overhand. He didn't showcase it at all versus Abus Magomedov, but hopefully he improves on that and gets the finish on Saturday. Next up, we got Rei Tsuruya and Joshua Van. I have a whole video on this that you can watch in the description. I'm not going to get super into it. All I know is this is going to be one of the greatest matchups between prospects we've ever seen. Their combined age is 45, the age of Alexei Oleinik in his last fight. And generally, I'm just really, really excited for this fight. Watch that down below. And then off the prelims, ending it correctly, we've got Curtis Blaydes and some fucking random from the middle of nowhere. They're putting a Dana White Contender Series guy against a very highly ranked heavyweight in Curtis Blaydes. I don't know what they're fucking thinking. I think they're trying to promote the Contender Series or something. I don't even know. You couldn't even tell me. It's going to be an absolute blob check. Curtis Blaydes is going to blob the fuck out of this guy. Probably got a TKO late in the second, and that's all she wrote. It'll be fun to watch, though. I do really like Curtis Blaydes as a person, and I think he's a fun fighter, too. So another win for the Gatekeeper. Let's fucking go. And to begin the prelims, we got another fighting nerd. Mauricio Ruffy and Bobby Green. I'm not calling him King Green. You can't make me. You can't make me. You can't make me do it. I don't want to fucking... I've been calling this guy Bobby Green since I started watching him in 2019, okay? I refuse to call him by his new government name, which is absolute baloney. This is one of those fights where either Mauricio Ruffy is going to put on a goddamn masterclass where he's just outstriking, outlanding. It's going to be fucking bad. He's going to beat the shit out of Bobby Green. Or we're having a Grant Dawson fluke where he just catches just a perfect straight shot down the middle. Ruffy's not ready for it. Gets put out cold. I feel like this could happen. I would be really excited if this happened, but I'd also be a little sad because I love the Fighting Nerds and they haven't lost in a long goddamn time. Unless we're counting Brunno Brazil, which we shouldn't be. I know she's technically a Fighting Nerd, but she really never had that kind of talent the Fighting Nerds have or really represented it in the same way. The main four I'm looking at are Carlos Prates, Caio Bahayo, John Silva, and Mauricio Ruffy. Pretty goddamn excited for this matchup. We'll see what happens. It's an 80-20, either... The 20 is Bobby Green just fluking a random straight down the fucking middle and catching Ruffy, or it'll be an absolute masterclass. I'm excited for the masterclass, but I'm low-key expecting the fluke. We'll see. And with the only one fight on this whole card, we've got Amanda Lemos and Iasmin Lucindo. This is a really fun matchup, honestly, and it's because they're both really, really aggressive on the goddamn feet, especially Iasmin Lucindo. I watched her live in San Diego in her debut. In her debut, she did lose by a split decision, and she was an absolute savage in it. She was pushing the pace, landing really good strikes, but the person she was going against was a little bit better, and that was Iasmin Uruguay. She's a fucking savage. So I kind of lean for the young blood in Lucindo, but I do expect Lemos to probably grind out a decision victory. Either way, this actually should be a really good fight on the main card for the women. Next, we've got a matchup I've been asking for years. We got Jalin Turner and Ignacio Bahamondes. We've got the two tallest lightweights in the whole division at 6'2" and 6'3", going at it. This is going to be such a fun, rangy matchup. You've got the spinning kicks of Ignacio Bahamondes. You've got the sharp, snappy kicks of Jalin Turner, like the one he hit on Dan Hooker. I think about that daily. The fucking sound of that thing was like a goddamn whip. Crazy shit. Anyways, we've got such a fun matchup in this one. I don't think this will come to the ground at all. This will be a strict striking masterclass from both of these guys. These guys are so like rangy and quick and powerful. I don't know who's going to win this one. I think I lean Jalin Turner just due to the fact he has more experience, but who I'm rooting for is Ignacio Bahamondes. I think he's a bigger and brighter future in the UFC, and I think his power is a little bit more prevalent when it comes to the striking. So this should be a goddamn good matchup before the co-main event. And with the co-main event of the evening, we got something really fun in Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Obviously, Rafael Fiziev is stepping in for Dan Hooker, which would have been a way fucking better fight, honestly. I've already seen this fight once. I think it's going to play out similarly. I think Justin Gaethje is going to be a lot more reckless in the third round, considering how bad Rafael Fiziev's gas tank is. And in the third round, he was absolutely done for. So I think that measured side of Gaethje is going to come out in that first and second, maybe just piece him up with the jab and land some nice uppercuts and really get the style going. And then the third, turn up the pace. That's what I'm hoping to see, considering how good Justin Gaethje's gas tank is, and he can last for 5 rounds usually. So I'm really excited for this one, but I don't see it happening so different from the last matchup between the two. The main event, the one we've all been asking for, except for Daggy haters like myself, right? We've got Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. Now, I am excited as fuck to see Alex Pereira fight. But God, what I'm not excited for is to see a fucking ankle biter like Magomed just diving for ankles, right? The only reason I call him an ankle biter, he primarily fights on the feet. But is he going to last any amount of time on the feet with Alex Pereira? Fuck no. We all know this shit. Like, let's not pretend like Magomed Ankalaev is like, I'm not going to fucking wrestle at all. You're going to fucking wrestle. You're a Daggy. You're going to wrestle. There's a guarantee you're going to wrestle because you're going to get caught by a left hand or an uppercut or a kick and you go, oh shit, I'm hurt. And you're going to fucking dive for legs, right? So we're being realistic here. Magomed Ankalaev has such a extensive background in grappling compared to a guy like Alex Pereira that it worries me a ton. But I still feel like Alex has that X factor. I think he's going to catch him. I think Magomed's going to get cocky, maybe try and strike a little bit too much. I'm saying maybe round 2 or 3, Alex catches him. But there is that 10% chance, that sad 10% chance that Magomed just smothers him for 5 fucking rounds. Because for being real, if Magomed really is that good of a wrestler, he could just do that. So this will be a really fun main event, an entire card, honestly. That's why I want to do a whole card breakdown. This event is just, honestly, it should be an absolute banger. We've had a few of these that are really fucking boring when they're really good on paper, but this one, I don't see a world where it's not absolute fucking gas through the whole fucking thing. So, yeah, that's my review of UFC 313. If you think I fucked up on anything or need to change anything, let me know in the comments. I'll debate you on it. So, y'all have a great day.